Fear is not a weakness. It's a sign you're pushing yourself to new limits. Rise above it. Face it head on and let it fuel your determination to rise to new heights. Show the world that you are unbreakable, unstoppable, unyielding, and remember, together, we are resilient.
All right, I'll go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off for this episode. Self-worth is not something that I was fortunate enough to learn from a book. I learned it in the absence of someone who was supposed to be in my life that was not there. And that someone was my dad, right? I didn't realize how much that had shaped me until I would say probably about, 15 years ago. It really thinking and just being like, damn, I wonder why I never feel like I'm not good enough, right? And that was because I was not chosen by the people that was supposed to choose me first, the first people that I should have seen, or the first people that I should have said hi to in the morning. One of those people, they were not there, right? So there was this moment probably like around when I was 8. I remember waiting for him to pick me up. He had called and he was like, yeah, hey, I'm going to come and pick you up and we're going to hang out. And it was just this excitement that he felt. And he was like, we're going to do all of these things. And I remember thinking like, oh my God, my dad is going to come pick me up. And my sister, she's like, oh, my sister, I think she's like 7 years older than me. She actually remembered growing up with my father in the house, and then there was a divorce, and then he left. Me, I can only remember there being me, my sister, and my mom back in the early days, like the way early days. But so back to the story, I remember waiting on him to pick me up and just standing in the foyer area. That's like the area where it was wintertime. It's that little breezeway. Usually I think people call them mud rooms or something like that now. But I remember waiting in that area with, I had friggin' my boots on, I had my coat, my hat. And I remember just standing there waiting. And, I was waiting for so long to start I took my shoes off because I'm like, man, it's some kind of relief because I've been standing here for a long time. And my mom had walked past me and my sister had walked past me, kind of like, you can tell that they felt bad for me. You can tell that they were thinking like, oh shit, he's not going to show up. How's Anthony going to react to this? But I can still feel it, man. I can still feel the cold in my feet, the quiet in that space. It was like time had freaking slowed down and he never came. And that was the first time that I really felt it. Like I wasn't worth showing up for. I didn't say it out loud, but it was what I interpreted that, and it was what I made it mean. And what made it worse was hearing that he had showed up for other people, that he had gone to see all of these other people in my family. And I found out that he had even went to go see my grandma. My grandma was like, oh, we saw your daddy. Your dad came by. And I remember just being like, what the fuck? What the fuck? And also thinking, now, of course, now I look back at it, maybe it was easier for him to show up for them. There's less expectations. There was less weight. He hadn't disappointed them. He had disappointed me. There was more. Maybe I reminded him of what he hadn't been. I don't know. Right. But as a kid, you don't process all that. You just feel it. There's just emotions. As a kid, you're always thinking that this is my fault, or at least that's the way that I felt. Right. Nobody never said it, but I felt that it was, oh, you're not showing up for me. So it must be my fault because he showed up for them. So they must have something that I don't have. Right. And what I felt deep down inside was that I wasn't chosen. And to be honest with you, I carried that shit way longer than I should have. I didn't realize it at the time, but I was carrying that into everything that I did in life. I remember early relationships where I felt like I had to do everything, show up more, give more, be more, right? If I had met somebody with a kid, I needed to be super dad. I wanted to have kids so that I could be super dad because I didn't have that. I wanted to give somebody else that, right? And it was like this feeling that if I just gave more than enough, then maybe I would be chosen. But it didn't work like that. It actually put me into situations where I overextended myself, getting taken advantage of. Even in relationships, things got physical. And I mean, as a man, that's not something that you talk about. But I can say it here, right? If I can't say it here, then where can I say it? And I always gave people excuses like, well, they did this, so it must be my fault. There's like this guilt that I've always kind of carried with me, and the people that's been close to me, they know that, right? I would try not to ruffle feathers because if I didn't upset you, then there was no chance of you feeling hurt by me and then you leaving me and not being in my life for forever. It's amazing the things that you can concoct in your head that you take on that's not fucking for you. And nobody has to even say it. It's like our mind is constantly trying to protect us and trying to work and trying to figure out all of these things. And it always comes back to, it must be you, right? At least that's the way that my mind works. I know there's other people mind work the complete opposite, where it must be them or it must be that person. I think there's a word for that. That'll be another episode. But I mean, back to the story, and like the part that hurt the most wasn't that just happening. It was staying, right? It was staying in relationships, staying in friendships, staying and accepting things that I know did not feel right. Because somewhere in me, I thought that I had to earn being loved. I thought that if I gave enough, they'd finally give it back. And when they didn't, it made me feel like I wasn't enough, like I was worthless. And that's some hard shit to sit in, right? But I'm not telling you this story so that you could say, oh, poor me. Poor Tony. Oh, it feels so bad for little Anthony. No, that's not the point of me telling you. The point of me telling you this is, right, it's something that I've really had to work through, something I really had to maneuver. And what really inspired this actual conversation that I'm having with you is a conversation that I was having with somebody in my DMs on LinkedIn. And they're just like, oh man, I wasn't born with the confidence that you have. And I'm just like, what do you mean? Like it just threw me for a loop. What the hell are they talking about? Right. And it's almost like they take what I do now, like this end result, what they see as the end result, which I see as still as a work in progress, right? Because I still to this day fight through confidence and self-worth issues. But I guess on the outside, it looks completely different unless you freaking know me, right? So I want to like not inspire you like, oh man, I'm so great. I'm so this. No, it's not about me. It's about you. It's about what are you pushing through, right? How can you get through if you're having these feelings of self-worth, right? But the shift was I had to do a lot of work, and that's what I want to encourage you to do. I had to do a lot of work to see things differently, to realize that my worth is not based on how much I give or how much I prove or whether someone else sees it. That's some deep shit right there. And I'm still working through that, like I said before, and I don't have it figured out, because even now, if I feel like I hurt someone, it weighs deeply on me. And I know that people can use that, but I started to look at things differently, not emotionally first, but factually. One of the things that helped me is through CBT, and that is through cognitive behavioral therapy. I'm not going to go through all of it and like break it down like we're in class. I want to encourage you to look up CBT, but all it really means is just because you feel something, it does not make it true. And I'll say that again. Just because you and I feel something, it does not make it true, right? And the reverse of that is if you are feeling some things that are false, I think that could be a cognitive distortion, right? And so we use CBT, the cognitive behavioral therapy, to fix that. So you could have like ED, you can have a generalized anxiety, like what I have. You can have there's a lot of different things, like with our thought behaviors and our ideas and the way that we perceive things can be a little screwed sometimes, especially when you have like a neurodivergent brain, like a lot of different people, me included. But cognitive behavior therapy, right? But what I had to do was I had to start like really separating what I feel from what's actually real, because for a long time I felt like I wasn't enough, but that was not a goddamn fact. That was a belief that I picked up, not something that somebody told me. It was that I picked up from that situation, right? So I want to really tell you, if you feel overlooked, if you've ever felt like you had to earn being chosen, if you've ever felt like no matter how much you gave, it still wasn't enough, you are not the only one. And a lot of us are still quietly carrying that shit. I know so many people that have been on TV, that are on podcasts, that are professional speakers, that still feel like they are not enough. And the problem with that for me is, instead of us continuing to pretend and like perpetuate this fucking lie, I think that we need to start being real. And that's a lot of folks on social media. You have no idea how many politicians that I talk to right now, every single day, when they've come to me for training. You have no idea how inadequate they feel, how they feel like, oh, it should be somebody else that's doing this, how they still have that imposter syndrome. So again, a lot of us are quietly carrying that shit, trying to figure out on our own. And you don't have to. We don't have to. That's the part of why I'm really starting to build spaces for folks so that we can talk about this. Mainly men right now, because I know I am not the only one to feel this. So if you've ever felt like you have to earn being chosen, I want you to hear this. You don't have to keep proving your worth. You don't have to keep overextending yourself just so that you can feel seen. And you definitely don't have to stay in places that make you question your value. That belief that you're not enough, it didn't start with you, but it's yours to challenge now. And I'm not saying that it's going to be easy. It's going to be hard fucking work. But like I said, I'm still working through it myself. But what I do know is the moment that you stop trying to earn it is the moment that you start seeing it differently. And if any of this resonated with you, don't keep carrying it by yourself. Start talking about it, start looking at it, start questioning it, and start really thinking about what it is that you have been telling yourself. And is it true? Because you're not the only one that's felt this, right? And you're not stuck there. You don't have to be stuck there. And I really appreciate you for being here with me. And I want to tell you that you were always enough. You just learned something different, right? And just because you feel this way, it doesn't make you a bad person. I encourage you to go and get some support. You don't have to join my support group. Join another support group. Go and talk to a therapist. Like, it's really cool to be able to sit down with somebody and dump your shit off. Somebody that is not your wife, somebody that's not your partner, your husband, or somebody that loves you. Like, they don't love you. Maybe they care about you and they care about your best interest, but there's somebody that is there that's neutral, that's going to give you the freaking facts. It's going to challenge you on that. So I encourage you to get some support. If any of this resonated with you, if you've said, oh my God, this is the way that I'm feeling right now, go and get that support. And with that being said, that is the episode. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for allowing me to travel with you on your journey. I want to say thank you for the things that you're doing, the things that you've done, and the things that you're going to do, because I know that you're going to do something truly amazing. Remember, I'm here to stand by you as you chase your dreams, lead with greatness, and continue to make a difference. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so that you can be notified every time we drop a new episode. I'll see you next time on Leaders Lead the Podcast. Peace.